This is AstroNerdBoy, and today I wanted to go over the 5 fantasy items I wish would be added to Fate Grand Order. Now, these are items that I know will never be added to the game, but, you know, if you have a fantasy wish list of things you want added to the game, this is mine. And so for item number 1, I would say that I would like a more rewarding experience in the game. And by that, I mean, like, the current event that we're in for Apocrypha, I find this to be a very rewarding experience. When we go into this fight here, once I'm done, I'm going to get a lot of currency, I'm going to get some mats, I'm going to get a lot of stuff that I need. Now, some people don't need this. I know a lot of people who are in my stream talk about they are in reverse QP hell, and so it doesn't help them. But for me, I'm in actual QP hell. I never have enough QP. I've got just an insane backlog of servants that need to be leveled up, that need to be geared up, and I never have enough QP. That's on top of not having enough mats. So, you know, I wish the game itself was more rewarding all the time. There are other games that I play where, or like Marvel Strike Force, where there's this constant reward factor. You feel like you're constantly being rewarded for your effort. Every little thing you do, it's like reward, 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 reward. Whereas Fate Grand Order, it feels like work, 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 work. Okay, here's a pittance for you. Work, 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 work. Okay, here's a pittance for you. And then every once in a while, like the lottery events. The lottery events are highly rewarding experiences, in my opinion. And then like this event here, with all the raids where we can do all this fun stuff, is a highly rewarding experience for me. I'm getting all the QP, like I said, I'm getting all the mats, and we're doing a lot of fun stuff. And you know, the grind factor doesn't feel as bad to me, but then again, I'm going to one-turn clear this fight here, so of course it doesn't feel as bad. Whereas sometimes some events where you have to take 6, 8, 10 turns to get through something and then repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it, and not get that much in the way of rewards, just doesn't feel that good. I'm just gonna admit, just for me, it doesn't feel that good. So I just wish that the game in general, not just in certain events, but just overall, had a more rewarding feel to it. And to that end, the next item I wish on my fantasy wish list is that there were actually more stores in the game and more currency items for different stores. Currently we have 3 stores, and the 3 stores are the Manna Prism, which, you know, that's pretty much for everybody. We have the rare Manna Prism store, which is the store for whales. Basically, the only way you are getting rare Manna Prisms is if you're whaling out quite a lot. You're getting extra gold servants, SR, SSR servants, or CEs that you're burning off for some reason. And then you're gaining currency for the rare Manna Prism store. Okay, so the third store is what I call the Kraken Store, and it is where the unregistered spirit origin currency is spent, and you can only get this currency from getting a servant over NP5. After your 5th copy, you start getting one of these currencies. Now, if you notice, I have 4. That's because I've got 9 Ultra Pin Dragons. So, but this is the only 3 stores there are. So there's this store, there's the rare store, rare Manna Prism store, and then there's the Manna Prism store. Now, what I wish there were is another currency store in here that had random stuff that showed up at different times of the day. You know, maybe every 8 hours it reset. But where you can earn this currency in events and just in the regular daily task deal. Or like when we're doing dailies, where you could get this special currency from just running dailies. Or even in the story mode or in the QP farming or mat farming after the story mode is done. And then you can go in that store and you have the currency and you just have different, you know, mats that you can buy there for sale. You just got to earn them like everything else. But that would be a fun item to add in there, and it would feel, you know, okay, while I'm doing my normal stuff, there's an additional reward factor. So that kind of ties into my first point there. My third fantasy wishlist item is to have more game content. Now, during events, yeah, you're basically all your time is spent in the event. But this game, Fate Grand Order, is hot or cold. When there's no event going on, and if you've caught up on the story, and if you've done all the backlog stuff, there's really nothing to do in the game. So it's a hot or cold. You either spend all your time in the game, or you're not doing much time at all. And I just wish there were other game stuff in the game all the time. One of the things that I've talked about in some of my streams is like the summer event. The first summer event had an island that you could build structures on, and you could get different materials and stuff to build more structures and blah blah blah. And I was thinking that, you know, actually I would actually enjoy having that as an additional piece of content in the game, so that, you know, you have an island, it's like your base. Now, I don't want player versus player stuff, because I hate player versus player stuff, especially when they can rob you of all your materials and stuff. But have it so that, you know, you have an island just like any other map on the in one of the nodes that you have to fight. And then make it so that you have to go in there. You have to clear the island of all the enemies that are on it. So that's step one. And step two, you have to build different structures on the island. You know, maybe a mine, maybe something to handle wood, maybe something to handle, you know, whatever other stuff. And then you have your main base of operations that you work from. I would say Chaldea, but I think the story has moved so that there's no longer a Chaldea, right? But it would be fun if you did have like a base of operations, and then, like, you know, your main building, your HQ building, as you build it up, maybe you get like certain bonuses to your servants in fights. You know, something to reward you. You know, as you upgrade the level of your mine, it produces more resources to help you do whatever. Maybe something that you can occasionally, you know, pull an SQ out of, you know, hey, we found an SQ. Maybe it's rare. And then have where you like put in servants to guard and protect your different facilities. Now, granted, you're not going to be attacked, but the purpose of that would be to give your servants, you know, XP. And then, of course, you know, once you put them in, it's like the Setsubun event, you know, where you use them and you can't, if you put them in the onsen, you could not use them again for however many hours. And it'd be the same kind of principle. If you put, like, say you had the HQ building and you put a servant in the HQ building as a guard, let's say, you cannot use a said servant again until, let's say, 8 hours or however long of a timer. Otherwise, they don't get the XP bonus. So more content would be more of a fun thing for me, and something like that. It'd just be more of a something to keep coming back in there, just to kind of add to the roleplay aspect, I guess. It's just something that, for me personally, there could be other different kinds of content added to the game, just to make the thing more interesting, stuff like that. The next item on my list is the transfer code. Now, DW is never going to get rid of the transfer code system, but my fantasy is that they would let us attach Fate Grand Order to either Google Play or iTunes or whatever, and then where you could just, if you want to play it on any device, you can play it on any device, and it doesn't matter. The transfer code system is just terrible, in my opinion, because you gotta uninstall it from one device, install it back there, get your transfer code, transfer it over. It's just a big giant pain in the butt. And then if you lose your code, it's a pain in the butt to try to get your account back. So it's a big convoluted mess. It really doesn't help anything, and as far as I'm concerned. I suppose DW thinks it helps prevent cheating. It does not. But, you know, that's, you know, the backwards thinking that they have. And unfortunately, they're not going to change. As far as I know, Japan is 2 years ahead of us, and they're still on the transfer code system. So, you know, that's never going to change. So that's number 4 on my list. So my number 1 fantasy wish list item is that Fate Grand Order was a true hero collector game. It masquerades as part visual novel and part hero collector game. But the fact of the matter is, it's not a real hero collector game. The only way you can collect all heroes is to spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in this game. And you're not going to do it. But you see, there's a ton of servants that I've either encountered or have. But, you know, the only way I'm going to be able to get these is to roll on the paid gotcha. There's no way I can collect them otherwise. And there are way too many servants for... If you're free to play, you're not going to have nearly this level of servants. I did do some whaling out for a few months, which is why I have a larger roster than probably normal folks do. But yeah, there's just a whole boatload of servants out here, and I like collecting heroes. And then there are some, you know, who's that? No clue. I'd have to look it up online because I've just never encountered them. But there's just a boatload of servants, and I would like to be able to collect them all. I would like to have a path to be able to collect them. You know, maybe some are done via special events that come up periodically, and you know, it's like, okay, well, you want to collect this servant who's really good and really powerful, you're going to need these other servants to go in there, and so you have to farm to collect those other servants. But Fate Grand Order is basically the only way you get servants is via the gotcha. And so if I want, like, for example, the current servants, you have to go into this paid gotcha. And granted, I have saved up 421 SQ, which is the premium currency. So if I want Achilles here, you know, I'm gonna have to roll and roll and roll, and it'll probably cost me about 300 SQ, and I might get him. Might. And I say might, he's a rate up, so if I have a 300 SQ will get me a 1 5-star servant, probably. It might get me more. It just depends. It's all RNG based, but there's no guarantee that I'll get him. I might get spooked by a different 5-star servant that I wasn't even trying to get. So the whole deal with the paid gotcha, and don't get me wrong, DW is not going to change this because they've made over $4 billion. You know, they're probably rapidly closing in on $5 billion in revenue. So, and I know the Japanese mindset is, you know, you need to spend all your money to prove how much of a fan you are. And so, you know, now granted, for free to play, you can save these up and you can get the occasional servant, but if you want to collect all servants, not happening. And that's the thing I kind of lament. I want to collect all the servants. So that's going to do it for this video. If you're on YouTube and you like the contents of this video, please give me a like and a subscribe. Also, there's my anime and manga blog at anime.astronerdboy.com. And you can come by Twitch. There's going to be a link in the description on YouTube so that you can catch my live streams. I'm doing Monday and Fridays right now. If I get some free time on Wednesdays, I'll try to stream on a Wednesday, but that's kind of in short supply right now. So anyway, AstroNerdBoy here. You all have a good one, and we will see you later.